Welcome back, everyone. Yes, we're on location. Great location, by the way. Spot Coffee in Glens Falls. And the reason we're here today is that you probably know an election is coming up for sheriff for Warren County. And one of the candidates running for that is my guest today. This is Shawn Lamouree. Welcome, Shawn.
Thank you for having me, Jesse.
It's terrific to have you. I've known Bud for many, many years, and we've done a lot of work with the Sheriff's Department over the years. It's really quite a well-run department, and a department that's very, very involved with the community. I want our viewers to know more about you personally. I think you told me 1988 you got involved with the department, correct?
I did. I graduated from SUNY Brockport with my 4-year degree. I want to say within a week I was working as a part-time patrol officer with the Sheriff's Office in Lake George.
A lot of changes since then, I bet, right?
A lot of changes. They have traffic lights in Lake George now. They didn't back then.
We're not going to talk about traffic lights. That's a joke about me loving to drive fast. You became under sheriff, which is a kind of an unusual title. Bud appointed that to that position, I think in 2012.
That's correct.
Now that raises the bar. That takes all the experience that you have in the field, right?
Yes.
And then all of a sudden you have additional responsibilities. And they're important responsibilities. Talk a bit about what the under-sheriff responsibilities are.
Well, as the under-sheriff, I'm second in command for the entire agency. I oversee all divisions of the Sheriff's Office. All told, we have approximately 244 employees. That includes full-time and part-time. The additional duties that I picked up in becoming the under-sheriff is that I do all the budgeting and all the planning for the Sheriff's Office. Currently, our budget is nearly $25 million a year. A lot goes into that. I have to work with our division commanders and with our supervisors within the office to obviously adequately plan and prepare for the budget for the following year. Additionally, I oversee all the grants for the Sheriff's Office. Year to date, I've brought in approximately $4.7 million, and that goes a long ways towards saving taxpayers in Warren County taxpayers' money as well. If I can use a grant to pay for technology and equipment, that's money that we don't have to put into our budget for local taxpayers.
Mm-hmm. Now, given your experience in the field, given your experience as under sheriff, and budgeting is part of that process also, but the close coordination with 911 call center, if you put all those experiences together, what would you say would be the 2 or 3 biggest challenges out there right now that you would face, that you have faced, and that you would like to address?
Challenges within the county itself?
Yeah.
So there's a few things going on right now. We have an opioid epidemic, which is really not unique to Warren County. One of the things I've been actively involved with is hometown versus heroin, because truly this is not something we can arrest our way out of. That we need to take what I call a community approach. We need to educate our youth, educate them much better than we have been in the past. We need to also recognize the fact that treatment is definitely a viable option for people. It's opioids, it's supply and demand. If we can get people treatment, if we can do more to get them off of the addiction cycle, if you will, the better off all society will be. One of the things I've done recently is we started bringing in services into the Warren County Jail and actually giving services for the first time to inmates that are fighting addiction issues. We were able to successfully bring in a grant through Warren Washington Association of Mental Health, who has partnered with us to provide a substance use disorder grant. It's the first time we've ever had this grant here. The other thing we've done is we partnered with them on another grant, and it was a $10,000 grant to provide services to inmates for when they get released. If they suffer from mental health or addiction issues, it gets them set up with services for when they leave. And the whole goal of this is to make them more productive members of society, as well as if we can reduce recidivism, everybody's going to be better off. It saves taxpayers money.
Well, you know what it is you're talking a lot about the concept of restorative justice,
yes,
which I think is paramount. The model that a lot of people in this country believe we should be following, and every single point you just made is a core tenet of restorative justice. And again, if you think Warren County is different from any other part of the country, you're mistaken. Something like the opioid addiction affects people of all incomes, all strata, all races, all ages.
Absolutely.
You name it, right?
Absolutely.
A lot is, and I've heard this said a lot, even in our county here, that police departments are being scrutinized a lot more than they used to. Do you feel that is one of the challenges?
We are, because of some incidents that have taken place in other locations within our country, where perhaps there's a lack of trust or lack of transparency between law enforcement and the citizens that they serve. It truly has put a focus on everybody that's in law enforcement right now. There's an expectation that everything we do is 100% right, 100% of the time. The one thing people have to realize, police officers are human, that sometimes police officers do make mistakes. One of the things that I pride ourselves on is we have a very transparent relationship with our community, that if somebody makes a complaint about the way somebody may have conducted themselves, we absolutely look into it right away, and hopefully we can resolve the situation.
You know, I want to cycle back on something. I was just checking my notes. Concerning the opioid addiction, a lot is being said about the legalization of marijuana. We've seen it in Colorado,
Yes.
We've seen it in Massachusetts. It's kind of moving its way here. Is it inevitable, number one? And number two, how do you feel about it?
Personally, I'm against the legalization of recreational marijuana. I think we only need to look to states that have already done this before us. I look at Colorado and look at the problems they've had out there. Increased drug use among youth, increased traffic accident, increased number of people getting injured and killed in traffic accidents. One of the things that we as police in New York have is if you're operating a motor vehicle after consuming alcohol, we have certain tools that we have to test people.
Right.
When you cross over from using alcohol to now you're using marijuana or some other drug, some of those tools aren't available to us. And specifically that all officers have a pre-screen device that they carry with them in their car. And it gives us a baseline of what we think your blood alcohol level will be. We don't have something like that if somebody's been smoking marijuana or if somebody's been taking some other type of narcotic. So what we have to do is we still do the standardized field sobriety testing, but now if we feel somebody's under the influence of drugs, we have to call in a drug recognition expert. We have one drug recognition expert for the entire agency, and we're not unique in not having enough. I recently was at a press conference 2 months ago in Albany, and every agency that was there, other sheriffs, other police chiefs, are all saying the same thing. They don't have enough resources available to them. And unfortunately, when the governor was, this was before the budget passed, there was no money in there to train additional drug recognition experts. So one of the things I'm a proponent of is taking our asset forfeiture money that we've taken as proceeds of crimes, and training more officers. And the other thing is better technology. When Charlotte McHugh was killed back in 2016, the Kennard and the McHugh family were very generous, and they bought us a device. It's called the Draeger 5000. And what the device does, it screens for 8 different types of narcotic substances.
That's right, we know about that.
And but it only tells you positive or negative. It doesn't quantify. It doesn't give you an amount that's in somebody's system. So there's newer and better technology coming out all the time, and that's something I would look to, again, use the asset forfeiture money to pay for this equipment.
Well, you're really knowledgeable, Shawn, I'll tell you.
Thank you.
Really do. But leads me, I've got one question left. Why do you want to be a sheriff? What do you want to accomplish? Personally.
What do I want to do? I've been doing this for over 31 years. I love my job. I love helping people. Sometimes we see people at their worst. Sometimes we see people at their best. But at the end of the day, we're out there providing a service to the community. I moved to Warren County back in the late 80s. I made Warren County my home. And I love helping the people that we have here. And I love serving the people that we have. I think that we provide a very good service to the public, whether it's the law enforcement function, the corrections function, or the 911 function. We do an awful lot for the community. I'm 52 years old. I'm still young. I still have a lot of energy, and want to make sure that we continue to provide the good service that we have in the past. You know, I'm very fortunate that I have Sheriff York's support, and I want to continue the good work that he's done.
Well, it's a real pleasure talking to you, I'll tell you that. Now, there's a primary, by the way, I want to make sure you know. June 25th, Tuesday, I think, right?
Yes,
Yes, good.
June 25th.
June 25th, two candidates running for the coveted office of Sheriff of Warren County. And I'm going to end the way I started. We interface a lot with your department, and it is a really well-run, transparent, well-run department. So it's good.
Thank you
Pleasure
very much.
talking to you.
I appreciate it.
You're welcome. See this interview again. You can head to our website, look, tvonline.com.